everyone. Welcome to another live for the Portrait Masters Conference 2023. I'm Ashleigh Taylor. I'm so excited to be with you again. For those of you who are just joining now, please tell us in the chat where you are tuning in from. I also want to know, do you have your conference ticket yet? Because you guys, it is down to the wire in terms of making your travel plans, booking the hotel room, all that good stuff to get to the conference. So I need to know, do you have your ticket yet? For those of you who don't know me, again, my name is Ashleigh Taylor. I'm an official mentor with the Portrait System. I'm also an educator in the Portrait Master Store. And I am just so excited for today's live. This is going to be the last live we do for this conference and like the live leading up to the conference, right? And we have a really juicy one today because we have two incredible guests. First, we have Elena Blair, who's one of the speakers at the conference this year, and she's an incredible newborn and family photographer. And then after we chat with Elena, we have the one, the only, the Sue Bryce. Yes, I had to put a "the" in front of her name because I'm just so excited that we have Sue here today. You know her and love her. I love her so much, and I'm just so excited for her to tell us about what she's excited about for the conference as well, and the things, because she spends all year designing this conference for us and making it amazing. And so it's really cool to just hear from her the special things that she's excited about over the last few weeks. We've gotten to hear from so many different amazing guests their favorite things about the conference, but now we get to hear from Elena, and then we get to hear from Sue as well. So I am so excited. I'm just going to pop into the chat and just see where you guys are tuning in from. We have Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Florida, more SoCal people. Hey, from SoCal. We have locals from Phoenix, which is where the conference is. So I really hope that you have your ticket. We have Canadians in the house, New York in the house, Illinois in the house, Texas, Georgia. Both Carolinas are representing in the chat, Oregon, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Ohio, just so many people tuning in, which is so exciting. And I still need to hear from you. Do you have your ticket yet? I need to have capital letters screaming yes. And if you don't have your ticket yet, I just want to remind you that you should go buy it. I think by the end of this chat, you will hopefully feel really motivated to buy it. And if you want a deal, it was expired, but because you're tuning in live, you can go to theportraitmasters.com to get that ticket. And when you check out, type in the code Yacht Rock, and you will save that $300. So it'll make your ticket $1,500 instead of $1,800. And then you get also that special Sue bundle as well. That is $1,000 value. It's her digital couples posing cards. It's her posing series in the Portrait Master Store. And of course, you get to attend her very special breakout class that she's teaching at the conference this year. And I will definitely be having her tell us about that as well. I don't know if you guys can see it because it's the chat that from this broadcast platform, but Sue's saying hi to everyone right now. So she is excited to come on and talk to you guys as well. And also definitely type your questions for Sue and Elena in the chat because I can field those for you, and they'll both be able to answer your questions as well. Okay, so code Yacht Rock, get on it. You're not going to want to miss it. It's a limited code that's really available to those of you watching this broadcast. We're only a few weeks away at this point from the conference, less than a month away. So it is kind of now or never time. Book those flights to Phoenix or figure out how you're going to drive there. Find your photography besties and figure out how you're going to travel together or carpool or meet there, room together. Once you're in our TPM Portrait Masters Conference specific ticket holders Facebook group, you can find a roommate if you're worried about, spending the money or you don't want a room alone. So we have lots of resources to help you out. No one is ever alone at the Portrait Masters. That is one thing that, of the million of the million amazing things that Sue has cultivated in this community. She's really cultivated an energy that no one is above anyone else. No one is like a mean girl or boy. No one is exclusionary. We have these red ribbons that you can put on your name tag that says like, hey, I traveled here alone, but I want to make friends. And when people see that red ribbon, they will reach out to you. You will never feel excluded. You can always sit with us vibes at this conference. And I think it's one of the things that makes it so special. This year, I've gotten to go to a lot of amazing photography conferences, but some of them I've never been to before. And while everyone was really nice, I can speak to the fact that it is very intimidating. And I did travel alone in some instances. And it just can be really intimidating to go to a place where you don't know anyone and everyone has what feels like their cliques and you don't really know where you're fit in. And all of a sudden you're 37 feeling like you're 16 again, right? Or you're 47 or 67 and feeling like you're 16 again. And that is just not the vibes at the Portrait Masters conference. Everyone from the staff to the mentors to, Sue herself, it's like top down. Everyone is just so friendly and amazing, and you will never feel alone, and you will make lifelong friends, and it will be incredible. So you do not want to miss it. And if being alone is the thing that's holding you back, do not let it. Put those brave pants on and come join us, because you will make friends and you will have your life changed by coming to this conference. So with all that being said, I think it is time to bring on my first guest, Elena Blair. So welcome, Elena.
Hi. Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
You're so adorable. You're made for this, by the way.
Thanks. Well, I was lucky enough to meet you for the very first time backstage. We were both speaking on registration day at Portrait Masters conference last year, and I loved you right away. You are so warm and welcoming, and you just fit right in with the community. But for those of us out there who might not know who you are, do you want to kind of introduce people? Tell us what you do, what kind of photography you specialize in?
Absolutely. I think we were both extremely nervous, or maybe I'm just projecting my
we were.
I get so nervous before I go and speak that I feel like I'm going to faint. So that's what you were. That was when I met you. So that was a funny time. But yeah, so my name is Elena S. Blair. I am a Seattle-based lifestyle, family, and newborn photographer. This is my 13th year in business, which makes me feel like I'm getting to be like, I don't know, old. Like I've been around a really long time, but 13 years of business. I'm still in the game as a working photographer. I actually just got home from a newborn shoot just now. I still do around 100 photo shoots a year. I am trying to bring that down. And I do have a really busy online education platform where I teach family newborn photographers all things posing, session flow, business, you name it. And then I'm also a speaker, a public speaker. And one thing that you mentioned that I will relate to is my very first conference was a long time ago, 12 years ago, probably. I was brand spanking new and I knew nobody. And I met someone in a forum and I roomed with that person. And it was a very scary thing to do at the time. She's still one of my best friends to this day. It was a life-changing thing. So if that's something that's holding you back, like Ashleigh said, like go in there and start that networking now and room with somebody. Like it's like-minded people. You'll be glad you did it.
Yeah, totally. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think it's a really important thing for people who are intimidated to understand that we're all very welcoming, and it can actually be something that you don't realize when you're signing up for the conference, that's one of those like fringe benefits, I guess, of going to a conference. Maybe you think you're going for an educational purpose, but you leave with a business bestie who changes your entire life and is cheerleading you on for your career, and you cheerlead them. And that's really amazing.
Yeah, 100%. I think that that's probably one of the most beneficial things about any conference. But one of the things that I was the most impressed with at the Portrait Masters last year, it was my first time, and just seeing this really welcoming community, even though I don't know what I'm not an expert. I would say mid-range. It's not giant. It's not a huge conference, but it's not teeny tiny either, which makes it kind of perfect. I feel like it's like just the right size. But even for that, mid-range size, like everybody is welcoming. Everybody wants to get to know you. Everybody wants to, give their advice in the shooting bays. I saw like collaborations happening and people giving posing advice and setting advice and all of that kind of stuff. And it's just really neat to see that community aspect, because when you become a photographer, you're kind of on your own, or at least it feels that way. And it's so much better when you build a community and when you find peers who will support you. Things will change for you. There's no denying it. So, and you can't replace in-person connections. You really can't.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like, I know sometimes people will say like, oh, well, if, maybe the speakers will be recorded and I can catch it later or something, but that's like, the speakers are amazing, but that's just one little piece of the conference experience. And really the conference experience is about being there in the room, in person. And I also feel, and you're a speaker, so maybe you can speak to this as well, but I also feel that there is something different between watching it later as a recording and seeing it live and feeling the energy that happens.
1000%. I am a speaker. Again, I'll be very nervous. So if you see me up there shaking a little bit when I first get up, bear with me. I'm speaking about family photography, which is my thing. And I think I may be one of the only, if only, family photographer there that's speaking. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Michelle's also talking about families. Anyway, I don't know if that's correct. So correct me if I'm wrong, but there is a very big difference when you watch something live, and I will be watching the other main stage speakers the whole time that I'm there, because it's a magical experience. When you're watching something recorded at home, you are not completely present. I could call you all out right now. I'm sure some of you are on Instagram right now. You're making lunch for your kids. You're editing on the side. This is like good background noise. This is like your Netflix that you've got going. When you are in person and present, you maybe, even if what they're speaking about is something that you're not interested in doing, like I love to go see, for example, when I see Sue Bryce speaking, I don't photograph single subjects. That's not my thing. I do families. But when I see her posing the women that she's posing on stage, I take what I learned from that posing demonstration and I apply it to my specialty. I apply it to my genre of family photography. And if I was just watching her while making a sandwich for my daughter, I probably wouldn't have that really, present application that I get from being in person. It really is unmatched. It's just different. If you've never been to a conference and you don't know that experience, you're in for a treat. You will be changed. You will go home more motivated than you've ever been, simply by being in that energy and that real life energy that we all learned during the pandemic. It's not replaceable. We thought maybe it was for a minute there, and it was very clear. You can't replace that. We need it in our lives and in our industry. So you will be pleasantly surprised with seeing those main stage speakers.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the speakers are always one of my favorite parts too. And especially if it's someone I haven't heard of before, or I feel like those, sometimes that's the ones that surprise me the most. They take something away. I'm blown away by. Of course, it's great when you know someone and you're already like a fangirl or whatever, and then you get to see them. But sometimes it's the ones that you're like, I don't know what I'm about to watch, and then your mind just gets blown, or you think of a way you could apply it to your business, or they tell you a story that makes you cry, and you just leave feeling so inspired. So yes,
100%.
I think. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like one thing that I always say that's sort of a joke, but it's a little bit serious, is that I go to a lot of conferences every year. I speak at a lot of conferences every year, and I always go as also an attendee. Like I am there to grow my business as well. And sometimes I can't tell you even like one thing that I actually learned. I'm like, I know that I learned so much that I can't put it down into one tip, but I come home and make massive changes in my artistry, in my business, in my lifestyle. You become a more like well-rounded person when you're taking care of yourself like that, when you're learning these things and you're doing this form of self-care, which is splurging on an in-person event like this. Because let's be real, it is a splurge. You're leaving your children, you are traveling, you're spending money, whatever. The ROI is massive.
Yeah.
And it is unmatched. So
I agree. And it's intangible. Like you said, it can come from so many different places in the event, unexpected things. Sure, you might walk away with a lighting technique that changes everything for you, but it could be that friendship. It could be this person you have a chat with that maybe at the time it didn't feel significant, but then you're running into a problem and you remember that this person like lives in the area that you're traveling to and maybe could help you troubleshoot this, or was an expert in this area, and all of a sudden you call them up and they're there to help you, and like a connection is made. It's just very interesting. Like I've been going to conferences now for a long time too, but particularly this one. And what's really cool is, especially within the last year, I would say, I realized like there's almost no place in the world that if I wanted to travel and just like say, hey, does someone want to meet up for lunch? I can find someone to like hang out or get coffee with. I can, if I need to borrow gear or rent a studio, I can usually find someone. Like I have this whole community behind me because I've invested in it and because I've shown up. And it's just crazy to see like years later how that can pay off in such a big way.
For sure. Last year I roomed by myself. I said last year I felt like the new kid at school. I was like really nervous and I didn't really know that many people. And this year I met someone there that I had sort of known like periphery wise. I mean, we knew each other like on the internet, you know, we had met maybe once in person at another conference. We were not that good of friends. Since the Portrait Master Conference, she and I have become such dear friends. We text regularly. She was going through something personal. We were checking in about that. We were checking in about business stuff. And now we're rooming together this year. She is a dear friend of mine. I made that connection last year. And I beyond the business and collaboration advice, you need peers. You need people in your corner that understand the ins and outs of this wacky business that we're in. And you will get that at this conference. It's such a welcoming conference. So
yes, I so agree. I know you mentioned a little bit about your class being teaching family like photography, portrait photography. I just wanted to give you a moment to pitch it a little more, tell people what they are going to walk away with, what you're excited about for the class.
Sure. So I'm a lifestyle family photographer, like I said, and I think there is a major common misconception about lifestyle family photography. People, and sometimes photographers do a disservice to newer photographers where they're like, I love these candid in between moments between my clients. And the truth of the matter is that nothing about any of my sessions is candid. I am like a creative director. I am 100% in control of every frolic and every giggle and every hair twirl that you see my kids doing with their mother's hair. And so I'm really actually a poser. I do a lot of posing. So I'm giving an on-stage posing demonstration with a family, and I'm normally out in a more natural location. However, the posing is all the same regardless of where I am. So I'm going to be explaining my posing system. I'm going to give posing demonstrations that you could actually I have a posing system that's like a step-by-step system. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you will get the same pose. And I even give like the prompts and things that I say to get the families to do what I want them to do. So I'm going to be explaining all that. I have a little bit of a talk part, and then I'm going to have an actual family on stage that I'm going to be posing, and I'm going to be tethered, which means I'll be taking photos of them, and you'll be able to see the photos that I take on the screen. So it should be really fun. Oh, my dog, sorry. Should be really fun. I'm very excited about it.
That's okay. My cat, that's usually the quiet one, just started meowing.
That's the thing about lives, right? Once in a while you have a little a little extra that shows up.
But yeah, that sounds incredible. I think it's like you said, it's a common misconception that lifestyle is somehow just you just are praying and spraying, I guess, or just you do your thing and they're just doing it because it's not. I used to shoot weddings, so I know to get people to look engaged with each other and look romantic, or even if they are truly in love, it doesn't necessarily translate to the camera. So you actually do need to be prompting and creating the candid moments.
Right. It's like something that really irks me. I get really frustrated for my students because I get these new students in the door and they're so frustrated and they don't know why their creative vision isn't coming to life, or they don't know why they're seeing these families like frolic through a field and they're like, why are my families not doing that? Why are my families looking stiff and uncomfortable? It's because you don't know how to pose. So even though what we're doing as lifestyle photographers might look unposed, it's actually extremely important. Posing is an art form. I know Sue is probably talking about that all the time. It is a art form that is necessary if you are taking pictures of people. You have to know how to make them look beautiful, make them feel beautiful, make them, turn them into your creative and artistic vision. And posing is the key to that, no matter what type of photography, unless you're truly a documentary photographer that you like sit there and don't do anything, but that's a totally different genre. And that's not what we're talking about. So
yeah,
I'm excited about it. And I'm excited to help people with that. I think it'll be a fun demo.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I honestly can't wait to be in the audience and seeing your talk. I will be cheering you on and sending you calming vibes.
Thank you. Hopefully I don't pass out. If I do, you guys just revive me and I'll get right back up again.
You'll be fine. We're always fine. We get nervous, but then
once I get started, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like in the backstage that I'm like freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, it just means you care. That's something someone told me once. Like, if you're nervous, it just means you care.
100%. So true.
Well, thank you, Elena. I can't wait to see you at the conference. I can't wait to see your talk. And I am knowing that you're just going to blow people away and people are going to walk away with so much information from you. So
thank you so much. I can't wait. I cannot wait for all the new people I'm going to meet. It's going to be great. And if you see me there, if you haven't bought the ticket already, go for it. And if you see me there, please, I'm new too. So come say hi to me. I need you to include me as well. So I'm excited to meet all of you.
Thank you, Elena.
Right. You're welcome. See you soon.
She's amazing. I'm really so excited about her talk. Hopefully that lit a fire under some of you to get that ticket, because I think Elena really spoke to why you cannot have this experience like recorded, or that's not going to suffice. You're not going to learn what you are wanting to learn. You're not going to make the connections. It's about being in the room where it happens, to quote Hamilton. Got to give a musical theater reference at some point in here today. So use the code YachtRock, join us. I'm just going to check the chat for 1 second, make sure we don't have any questions. I think we're all good. So that means that it is now the special time to bring in Sue Bryce.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
There goes my dog.
Pets. How are you today?
I'm good, Ash. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here chatting with you about the conference. I know it's a really special year and you put so much into planning this. I know you were saying you start planning this in January, which I think people don't really realize.
Yeah. And, speakers are locked in February. So they know that they're speaking and they can't announce yet. And when they're new and they're really excited, it's hard for them because they're like, I'm going to be on stage at 2 p.m., but nobody knows yet. Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. Well, I guess there's so many ways we can start this conversation, but I want to address the elephant in the room, perhaps, that this is the last photography conference that you are teaching, speaking at. How do you feel about it? What do you want people to know about it? Why should they not miss out on this opportunity?
I kind of, I've been writing my final keynote, so it's bizarre. I haven't thought a lot about that being my final show. Well, I have, but if I don't think about it, I just kind of stop focusing on it. But the time has come to merge WPPI and TPM next year. So this is the last one that I'm at the helm for. And it's both exciting and it's sad. And it's really emotional, but also I feel like this year is going to be really intimate. It's a smaller group than normal, which I like. And I just want to be there with everybody, all the people and all the team, and just bring it full circle. And I'm just really, really excited. I'm most excited for this one out of all of them. And it will be the last one, as it is.
Yeah. I know, like, we were in Italy together earlier this year, and you were just so fired up in Italy. And I felt like you said something similar about Italy, which was just that you were so excited. Like, this was the one you were so extra excited for. And not a single person left that workshop not fired up. So I just know that same energy is going to be brought to this conference. And
it really is.
Yeah, I'm really excited for people to get to experience it. The first timers, the long-standing people in our community, the people who've joined along the way. I think it's just going to be a perfect like bookend.
I do too. Yeah. I mean, it became everything I wanted it to be. You know, I was going to conferences in my earlier years and not learning anything. There were no portrait photographers on stage. It was mostly wedding. It was 99% wedding. A few newborn and boudoir started to come in the early 2000s. And then, you know, obviously I came to the US and hit with Creative Live, and I was building my audience and speaking all around the world. And I was like, there were no conferences that were just for portrait photographers. And you know, even now, WPPI, it was wedding and portrait, but now, but back then it was predominantly wedding. And then portrait really took over, and it became more about portrait than it did about wedding in the last 10 years. So I just wanted a conference that was for me and for my business. And listening to everything you and Elena were talking about making friends and having associates. When I started my business, we were competition. You didn't go to other people who were competing for the same work to learn more about your business. And especially in New Zealand is such a small country. We just weren't learning from each other, and we weren't in alliance. Like, we were all competing. And I, you know, built a business under this belief that there's enough for everybody. Like, there's enough for everybody in this world, because ultimately my studio at its maximum, at its absolute max, shouldn't have been photographing more than 200 shoots per year. And if I service 200 people in a year and then serve a big majority of them again the following year, then it stands to reason that there is enough to go around, because that's a big studio and that's big volume. And there is a lot of people in my town. So there is enough. And you do have this scarcity when you first start out. So I just wanted to have people that worked in the same business as me that were my friends, so that I could actually ask them real questions. And it wasn't until I moved to Australia in 2009 that I befriended a whole lot of amazing wedding and portrait photographers that were at my level in business. And I got my first alliance with people that were doing it like I was doing it too, and in real time learning and growing and becoming all these things. So yeah, then when we built this conference, it was like, it has to be a portrait conference with portrait speakers and portrait vendors that really serve our business, with other portrait photographers that we can make these powerful alliances with. And the big thing for me is it's a really hard thing to do, but I want to separate the divide between the stage and the audience. Like, we're just photographers that are further along than you. Everybody in that audience is a potential speaker for me. Everybody in that audience is the next Sue Bryce, or the next Ashleigh Henning, or the next whoever they are. Insert your own name. You don't have to be like anybody. Everybody in there, in that audience, was me when I was fledgling, and I was looking up on that stage going, I want to do this, and I want to be successful at this, and then I want to do this, I want to present, I want to share, I want to teach. Like, I felt like when I came in, there were these rock stars, and inevitably I got called a rock star. So yeah, I know I was in the rock star category, but I was like, I didn't want that. It's not, that's not what's important. It's like, look, I'm so much better than you. It's like, no, I'm just 10 years further on than you, 15 years further on than you. And being a mentor gave me that incredible gift of like, people are being mentored by me, and I want to teach them how to be successful at this. So yeah, I wanted a conference that you could shoot at, but also watch people shooting. Not just hear people talk about their work, but actually watch them create it, because in watching them create it, you learn so much about yourself. I wanted a conference that you could come to by yourself, put on a red ribbon, and make new friends. And I wanted accessibility to everybody up there, so that you could like go and meet them and learn from them and learn about your business. So it became everything we wanted it to be. And, you know, now it's going to evolve again. And that's okay. But yeah, I'm definitely coming to the end of my photography career. And 34 years yesterday,
Oh my
I
gosh.
said I would retire at 35, right? 35 years a photographer. And what an incredible blessing. I think, if anything, I'm just more overwhelmed of what I've achieved and created in my career and life, and what I get to share with all these incredible people. And that's the most exciting part. Sorry, that was a really long answer.
No, it was a great answer. I was hanging on every word. I mean, I just think about, like, I met you 10 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
now I'm not. So I met you 10 years ago, and I just even think about how dramatically my life has changed and how many things that I have done, even just in this very last year, that I couldn't have imagined ever happening 10 years ago.
10 years is a long time. Like, no, it's like I've known these people in this network for 10, 13, 14 years. So it's like, it's been incredible to watch all of you grow and change. And, 2012, after my first Creative Live, we started that private group, and I would get pinged 5 times a day on people saying, this must kill you to watch people butcher this genre that you've loved and developed for so many years. And I would say, well, I wouldn't be a good mentor or teacher if I, didn't see them as becoming. And now, and I would always say back then, do you remember I'd say into the group, my intention is that you are better than me, that you earn more money than me, that you're a better photographer than me, that you have a better business than me. Like, go for it. There's nothing stopping you. And then I watched over the last 13 years, people get better and better and better and better. And somebody wrote in the group, kind of in a trolley kind of way, a couple of years ago, under a beautiful image by one of our photographers in our group. I can't remember who it was, sorry, but somebody wrote, sorry, Sue Bryce, but you're not the best photographer in this group anymore. And I wrote, I have not been the best photographer in this group for a long time. And that was my intention right from the beginning. I mean, isn't the whole point of mentoring is that you become more than me? So, I love that part, and I've loved watching people grow. But to look back over 13 years is kind of extraordinary.
Yeah, I like thinking back to the beginning, thinking now, it's just been such a journey. And even just narrowing the field a little more and thinking about the first TPM in Palm Springs and what it's become. I mean, that was a great conference, but that was still like nothing compared to, what it's become. I'm thinking about the shooting bays last year were just so incredible. You've also just, helped the entire team come up. I mean, Bree, I got to interview her on one of these lives, and just seeing how her skills have just creatively.
Oh yeah, she runs that makeup room.
Yeah,
like she runs that hair and makeup team, and they are some of the hair and makeup artists in Arizona that we get, same girls for the last 4 years, mind-blowing. Like New York Fashion Week, 21 years. Alison Pin, one of the most talented body painters in the country, if not world. Extraordinary, like really incredible Tally Ayers. Like they are just really phenomenal hair and makeup artists, and you don't even see them because they're up in that makeup room. But all the models coming in and being dressed in there, and then getting their hair and makeup done, and they're all photographing their outfits as they're coming out, and then they're walking down, and it's just such an incredible vibe and energy, and watching her run that is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like, for me, just seeing peers and friends like level up is really exciting, and seeing them like take creative control. And I like, again, Brie was like, what can we come up with this year to make it even better and more exciting? And I just got chills knowing that the shooting bays are going to be so cool this year. And we have the pool bays, which is something that you brought to Italy, which was so cool. Everyone loved it. I know when you announced it to the Italy group, people were like, a pool?
So like out of 97 photographers, 4 commented and were like, yay, can't wait. One of them might have been you. And then when I got them there, and we had it in a position where they could lean over the turret of the upper level, so you could lie on your stomach and put a camera strap around your head, you could shoot down, and then you could also go down to the lower level and shoot on that water reflection. People were blown away, and so many people said they're going to buy pools. They were just like little cheap Amazon pools for $65. And then I put a backdrop fabric into them and shoot down on them. And we were outside, but we were putting warm water into the pool. And the models were staying in there for an hour and a half at a time. And they were so happy. It was just incredible to watch, and also really cool to watch people photograph in there and find different like angles and things. I bought a whole lot of like floating flowers and things to create. So we'll be able to mix it up with colorful chiffon fabrics and bring in and out flowers. And, Jerson was in the pool, running the pool for the entire 2 days shooting. And all he was doing was just switching out. People were just directing him, take these flowers out. Can you add the greenery? And he was standing in that pool, remember? And it was great. Yeah. It was wonderful. And I love photographing in water. So I'm so glad we're able to have those there at the show.
Yeah, I think it's going to be so special. And like, again, if someone's watching and is still like not sold on it, it is really, really cool. And the images you're going to create, like, I mean, for me, I was like, in Italy, I was like, well, but I'm not going to have a pool at home. So what's the point? But then Andrew was like, I'm going to get naked in the pool. Who wants to take my picture? And I was like, well, I'll do it for you. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, we got to do this. We got to do that. Like, you just get so creatively into it in a way that you can't really explain or foresee until you're there with the pool and all the magic and the flowers and the fabrics and the models and all the things are happening in front of you. So I think people should definitely get hyped.
Also, like, think about, like, you're faced with all of these incredible shooting bays, and the idea is that you get to experience them and try them yourself. But not all of them are going to be what you want or what you're excited about. So choose the ones that walk past them, choose the ones that you really, really want. And as you line up for each one, start to think about what you're going to do with this that's a little bit different, and start creating a vision in your mind. And then when you get that chance to photograph them, just go after that thing that you want. And if you really loved a shooting bay, line up for it again. That you don't have to get to all of them. You just have to get to the ones that really speak to you, and the ones that, you really want to create beautiful images of, and then think about what you're going to do with them, because you get an opportunity to move them, pose them, and you can change elements of their outfit if they have different elements there. And it's very, very cool. And then up on the poster of each shooting bay is the light setup, the settings and everything. So you're learning each of the lighting setups and trying to get something different every single time, which is really, really cool. And I love that you can actually walk away with incredible images just from the shooting bays.
Yeah, I love that too. And I was going to say, for people sometimes, like, just because I've manned shooting bays for many years, sometimes I'll hear people like walk by and be like, well, I could never recreate that in my studio, so I don't see the point. But sometimes for me, what's really creatively interesting is actually trying gear, like trying lighting setups. Maybe I don't have 3 lights at home, but trying it, because you might walk away being like, that was amazing. Take a picture of the setup, take a picture of the informational thing, save the money to invest in that gear. Like, my work has changed over so many years because of trying new lighting setups and not having that closed mind, but thinking, well, yeah, I don't have this at home now, and maybe I don't know if I want it, but let me just see what this looks like. Like, yes, shoot with the goal of building your portfolio, but also maybe shoot with the goal of finding out how can you expand your skills and your
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so we've talked shooting bays. Let's talk parties.
So I really wanted to call the party. I really wanted to call the silent disco, because it's our biggest party night. I really wanted to call it cruise ship. Like, I'm thinking everything on a cruise ship, like everybody on a cruise ship, think cruise ship. And even though we called it yacht rock, which is a music genre, and I want you to know it's more cruise ship than yacht rock. Okay. So if you look at yacht rock, that's just captain hats. But, you know, when you look at cruise ship, I want you to think about all the incredible characters that are on a cruise ship and make your outfit cruise ship, because the goal of the silent disco is to see how long I can stay in the room in my costume before I'm recognized. And I try very hard every year to be incognito to see how long it takes people to recognize me. And I was in there for an hour and a half last year before anybody knew who I was. So this is one of the most fun nights for me, because I get to dress up and, you know, go in like incognito. And then I was going up and talking to people, and they didn't know it was me because I was talking with a fake American accent, and it was so funny. And the next day I had gone up to a group of girls, and I was trying to talk to them, but they were not being that friendly. And the next day I saw them and they were like, "You didn't see our costume last night?" And I said, "Yeah, I did." And I told them what their costume was. And I said, "You talked to me, but you weren't very nice to me." And they were all like, "Oh," and I said, "So I moved on. And I just want you to know, if I'd been wearing a red ribbon, you were being mean." So I was like laughing because nobody knew it was me. So I was like, always try and just wear something a little bit, like, see how long it takes. And, you know, so you're on the lookout to spot me and see how quickly it takes for you to work out that it is me.
It's like, where's Waldo, but where's Sue?
Yeah. And it's also the first time my husband said, "We're going to do a silent disco," I was like, "Why? That sounds ridiculous." And it was so amazing. It's not only our staple party, but we did it for our wedding, because we, you know, got married in Palm Springs, and after 10 o'clock, you can't have music outside. So at 10 o'clock, we handed all of our wedding guests earphones and said, "This is now a silent disco." And we watched people have the time of their lives. So it's like, it's really incredible. And it's such a weird thing, but it's so much fun. But yes, the parties are always great.
It is so much fun. And this year we have something a little bit new, which is the awards night. So maybe you could just tell us a little bit about that, because we really haven't had an official awards night before.
Well, the hardest part about being online is that people don't get to come and get their awards given to them and also celebrate them. So if you have earned an accreditation, wear it. Wear it. Wear it around your neck and wear it proudly. You've earned it. If you're going to get one, you'll get given it on stage, and you get to, you know, be noticed, be awarded, and you get to celebrate it. And that's the moment we do a little ceremony to give out our latest awards. And all of those accreditations, they mean a lot. You know, getting my master's was a great moment in my career, and I remember it. And I got to go up on stage and get my medallion and, you know, get it put on. And it's just such a cool experience because you work so hard for it. So yeah, we just got to make sure that we have a little celebration ceremony in there for all the people that are getting awards and accredited.
Yeah, that's exciting. I need to remember to pack, because this year was the year I got fellow just last round. So I need to remember to pack my ribbon.
Yeah, you do. And like, I have mine displayed in my studio. So I have to remember to go and pull that off the display and put it in my bag, because, you know, it's a really cool accreditation and it means a lot to me. So yeah, wear it and celebrate that because you did it. And that's the whole point of that.
Yeah, that's going to be a really, I think, a fun addition to everything.
For
and
sure.
then we have the karaoke. Well, we have the pool party and we have the karaoke party. So are you planning to sing? Do you know? Is it
okay? The pool party is amazing because it's a pool and we're all hanging out at the pool, and that's just a great event. And it's such a beautiful evening. It's always like hot and there's people swimming and photographing in the pool, and you know, that in itself is a lot of fun. But we finish with this karaoke night. It turns out professional photographers can sing.
Yeah.
Wow, we have professional singers just in our network, and I don't sing because I can't sing, and I know I can't sing. So I stay off the stage on karaoke night and I watch all the incredible people who can sing get up there and do it. And I love it. So that part really blew me away. I remember about probably it was before COVID, so 4 or 5 years ago, I took all of my team staff, Caitlin, Kenzie, all of my staff out to a karaoke evening in Manhattan Beach. And Caitlin gets up there and just sings the song, which just drops everybody to their knees. Kenzie gets up there and does Beyonce.
Wow.
Aaron and Maxwell got up there and did Bohemian Rhapsody and brought down the entire bar. And then people were coming up to me afterwards going, "Oh, so your group are like professional singers?" And I was like, yeah, apparently they are. All of them are. And yeah, that's really amazing to watch. But also we have George's bar. So my husband is George. And obviously George has always had this little after hours bar, and we call it George's Bar. We got a sign made, George's Bar, and it's at our house. It's on the wall, so I have to bring the sign. But like, it's a big thing. And then after the parties, we all meet at George's Bar for a drink at the end of the night too. And we do that every night, and that's so much fun.
Yeah, so basically plan not to sleep when you come to the conference if you haven't been before, because we get started early with speakers and we go late with George's Bar, but you don't need to sleep because you're just going to be running on adrenaline.
Well, I always say you've got to be up and ready early in the morning because you want to get a good seat for the main stage, because the main stage in the morning, but you can be in that place where you're not quite ready to face the day yet, because you can sit in that little dark room with your coffee and just enjoy amazing speakers back to back. Then we stop for lunch. You get to go out, have a break, and you can go and then get ready properly if you want. Take some time. But this is the moment you're going to go into that vendor room, and we call it shoot and shop, because you're going to go and shoot and shop. You're going to go and meet people. You want to meet vendors, because vendor relationships change your business. And once you learn who your vendors are and they learn who you are and you get a relationship with them, it's unbelievable. And so getting that face-to-face is really powerful. Doing the shoots you want, trying out the pool. Remember, big shout out to Terry Hofford and her body positivity booth, because the models that come in for Terry's booth fly there themselves. They ask to be there, fly themselves to be these body positive models, because they're so extraordinary. The vibe on Terry's booth elevates that entire show. She will do a confidence catwalk. She will do all sorts of things. And Terry spends it all. She loses her voice. She goes until she can't stand. And it is truly awesome to watch and photograph and experience and be part of. And so the whole show has this really cool vibe of amazing people that bring it. And like, that's why I think it's amazing. And that's why I'm so lucky, because they continue to bring it every single year. And it's really mind blowing. I know people will be blown away by her and what she does on that booth. I mean, you've been to her body image workshop.
Yeah, I was going to say,
know how powerful it is.
Yeah, she's unlike anyone else. Actually, the first time I met Terry in real life was at the Portrait Master Shootout, the one that we had, the mini one that we had right
September 21.
Yeah, and I had been following her online for a long time, and she was just even cooler than I already thought she was from online. I was like, wow, it's really rare that when you see someone and you think they're really cool on Instagram, that then they go and surpass that when you meet them in real life. And you just completely, I had a really high expectation of you, and you've just above and beyond that. And that's why I wanted to sign up for her body image boot camp, and it was sold out. And then she had posted on Instagram stories, someone canceled. I have one opening, and I just, like, before I knew what was happening, I was signed up. My was like, to her, and it was a completely amazing experience. She just is such a life-changing teacher, both from a photography aspect, but just, I think she will change the way you think about everything.
And then another cool thing that we switched out was last year, I just identified that all of these incredible mentors were running shooting bays. And I was like, okay, but I did a thing called Meet the Mentors. I wanted it to be like speed dating, where on day one, you could like line up and all the mentors were sitting in seats, and you could go and sit with them and you get a folio review or get some feedback or ask a marketing question or ask a sales question. And you just got concentrated time with a mentor. people were going and lining up again to go and meet new mentors to ask more questions, and that line just never went down. So I looked at that and I was like, here are all these incredible business mentors on shooting bays helping people shoot, but anybody can do that because they're already photographers. They need very little help. They really just wanted to play. So I made sure that everybody running the shooting bays were supporters, and I'd taken those mentors and put them in chairs with a table in front of them so that you could shoot and then go and spend time with that mentor. And it was so popular. We're doing that again with all the mentors. So it's really beyond shooting. If you want business mentoring, line up for one of the mentors, sit with them, have your questions ready, have your folio ready. You can get critique. You can ask them anything you need to ask about your business and get some one-on-one time with them. And that is extraordinary, and truly. And so many incredible photographers. Like if you want your work critiqued by Richard Wood, line up for Richard. If you want, sales and marketing, you go to these people that specialize in the things that you really want to learn, line up and get time with them, because that's invaluable, especially that one-on-one. And it turned out to be one of the most popular things that we did, and I wish I'd done it sooner.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say it was really incredible. And even though I am a mentor, it's like, I want to get in line and talk to you too. And same with the breakout classes, like Damali and I were kind of joking with each other. And I was like, I would be signed up for your breakout class, Damali, if I wasn't teaching at the same time and therefore cannot sign up for your breakout class. And she was like, same.
But you just get this one-on-one time concentrated with what you really want to learn. And whoever you choose for your breakout will be the ones that you need right now. And so identify any of the other instructors that you maybe would have gone to see, but you've chosen those two, because often those have TPM classes or something there for you anyway that you can get. So it's like, it's there. Right now, just focus on the first two that are most important to you.
Yeah. And I would say too, also like what you have questions about that you want to ask live, because I know with Damali, for example, like her new course is out and it's incredible, but she was on last week and she was talking about like, it's great to watch the class and it's another thing to get coached by her and have that personal feedback, and she'll be able to do that. And same thing with my class, like you can take my Facebook ads class and I get tagged basically weekly with people wanting me to look at their landing pages, and I can only give so much, like I give as much feedback as I can, but I can only give so much feedback in a Facebook post with only so many pieces of data in front of me.
I know.
So
when you're face to face, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah, because then you can really see the whole picture and you can really like say, you know what, this is where I think the problem is. Why don't you try these 3 things? Tell me how it works. Like have that reconnection. So
Sure.
And I know that's true with every single person who's teaching a breakout class, whether it's Kat, Sarai, Felicia, like Leslie, you want to learn lighting from Leslie. You want to just be able to see it happen right in front of your eyes,
and feel it.
So, yeah. So you like when you're thinking about picking, think about who you want to really have this intimate experience with, like live in person.
Like when I'm not doing a breakout, I'm doing the posing before the breakout classes. I want people to, if you're going to sit and stay sitting, come to the front in the middle of the room. And if you want to move your body, this is a interactive posing hour. If you want to move your body, go to the outer edges and to the back and stand up, because I want you to move in the same way that we're all moving up on the stage. And I want you to be able to photograph the stage so that you've got ideas and that you're, taking notes with your camera. And also I just want you to feel it. Like I just want you to feel being posed by me in your own body and feel the connection and the direction so that you can learn it. And I just, I'm stoked to be able to do that. I'm stoked to do the Canon shootout because I'm doing that with Jeremy Cowan and Michelle Salentano. And I love every single speaker we chose for the main stage this year. I love every single one of them. I love all the breakout classes and I love all the parties. So now I'm designing all of the shooting bays. So we have an amazing stylist, and Jess comes in and she helps style every single outfit from my wardrobe. We do that together. Then after we've picked all the models, we then place all those models with an outfit. And then we look at all the incredible photographs from Oliphant, because she's painted us all new backdrops for the year. Then we match backdrops to every single model and every single outfit. So that process happens on this very long table, and it's just a puzzle, just putting a puzzle together. Then we work out who's going to manage each shooting bay that goes with each look, each model. And they are often styled too, like to the photographer that's, running that bay. And then we look at like how we're going to light that specific model and that outfit. And then all of those things contribute to become, now we give that and they go and set up all of those shooting bays. And then all the models' outfits are locked in. And that in itself is a 2-day process. And it's so much fun. And it's like, that's the bit that I wish I could spend more money and more time creating magnificent sets, because that's the bit that just lights me up like so much. So, it's kind of a really cool process of choosing them. And then we have to work out which models are going to be good in the pool. And, are they comfortable being wet, and we don't have to do their hair, and they don't have a lot of makeup on because it comes off in the pool. So there's a few variables there that change and just make it lots of fun. And there's lots of great vendors back this year too.
Yay. Yeah. I know that's one of the amazing things, is getting to meet the vendors and getting deals on things that you can buy and we have swag, which I did want to make an announcement. The swag online is currently closed to buy, but they're bringing swag to the conference. So bring your wallets, bring your credit cards, make sure you buy.
Okay, so I've got the Poser tote bag, the Geb tech bag, which I've been traveling with in my camera bag for the last 4 weeks. I've got the Poser backpack, and I just did a 3-day shoot in Denver. So I packed my camera bag, my Bryce Temper camera bag, and I pack that up. I pack up all my lighting equipment and check that as a check bag. Well, I'm walking through the airport with my Bryce roller hat box and my professional poser. 4 people stopped me and asked me what professional poser means. And I ended up talking to 4 people on my way to Denver about me being a professional photographer. And I do think if I was taking bookings, I could have booked them all.
Yeah, that's a cool conversation starter. And I got the crop sweatshirt.
Oh, I did too. I love the crop sweat.
It's just been too hot to wear it. Yeah. So I haven't seen it in action.
I love the crop sweater, and also, like I said, the little tote bag, the backpack, the crop sweater is my absolute favorite. So I'm just waiting until it's cool enough to wear it. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel
and the hat.
Like if you're like walking around with your coffee and you got the hat, the tumbler, you got it all, you're gonna create some conversations. I
also like this because I am an iWatch wearer, and he did these amazing little charging stations. So your phone sits there, your earbuds sit there, and this pops out for your iWatch, and it just plugs in. So instead of charging just one phone or iPad or whatever you got when you travel, I can charge all 3 at the same time. And I was like, I love this. And I love that it's got Poser on the front. And I also love that I can have it this way, and I've got Portrait Master. So it's like, when I looked through all the merch, I was like, I love every one of these. So yeah, there's lots of cool stuff there. But I love this idea that like, it's cool. I don't, a Portrait Master's t-shirt is cool, but I said to the boys right from the beginning, put Poser on it and I'll wear it all day, every day.
Yeah, I agree. It was a really cool, good thinking, Sue, because it was a really cool item. And
I like marketing on the periphery, Ash. And marketing on the periphery is, I would rather wear something that says Poser that starts a conversation, because so many people were like, Poser. And I would smile and say, and then they'd say professional. And everyone said the same thing, all 4 of them. And I said, I'm a professional photographer. Instantly opened a door to have a conversation about what I do. So I was like, I will wear that everywhere. I'll wear the hat proudly. I'll wear the hoodie when it's cold enough.
Yes.
And I'll carry that bag with me because it's so awesome.
Well, I only have you for a couple more minutes. So I guess I'm just going to toss it to you to give the final kind of what you're most excited about and why people should not miss out this year of the conference? Just give them your best answer on this one.
So I've always noticed with conferences that my husband creates conferences, big ones, and builds them. And he's done an incredible job of doing that over the last 22 years. And he does this thing where he walks around to all of the vendors, and every single student that he comes in contact with, he's going to ask you this question. And I know when you meet George that he's going to ask it to you. So be ready to answer it. He's going to say, what did we do right? And what did we do wrong? And then he comes to me and he tells me what we did wrong. And I say, I don't want to know this. I don't want to know what we did wrong. I want to know what we did right. And he goes, but until you ask what we do wrong, you can't make it better. And then every year we make it better and we make it better and we make it better. But the one thing I have to say is, like anything, this is what you make it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we can only give you a platform with 400 other people to share this moment. It's about you coming to that platform and feeling good enough in that room, feeling good enough to be there. If you've got a ticket, you're good enough to be there. You've chosen to be there. That's all you need. I don't ever want anybody to feel that they're not included or mean girls or whatever, but that happens. I mean, human nature is what it is. So it's about you coming to this conference and saying, this is what I want from it. I want to learn from those presenters. I want to connect with as many like-minded people and make new friends. I want to learn this new skill. I want to talk to this mentor. Like, have a bit of a plan. And if you don't have a plan, just stay incredibly open to every single person that you meet, because you don't know who you're talking to. And sometimes you can meet somebody so humble and quiet, and then you connect with them, and then you walk away, look at their Instagram and go,
yeah.
and you're like, oh my gosh, I just met so-and-so. And they're like, oh yeah, they're kind of a big deal. And I was like, I didn't know. And you'll just be talking to somebody that could change your life right there in that moment just by connecting with them. So just bring it. Bring yourself, bring openness, like listen to everything, taste everything, experience everything, try everything, and just enjoy every part of it. And if for any reason you don't feel like you belong, go to anybody standing alone with a red ribbon on and start talking to them. Make everybody feel welcome, including yourself in the room, because we've made these situations where everybody can come to this platform and just bring it. So there's no reason you can't. Enjoy the shoots, learn everything you can, and just be part of this incredible community, because it's going to continue to grow. And, you know, if you're at that level where you've done these before, you come because of the friendships, because you learn more, then maybe your goal this year is, the time has come now for me to start thinking about how I can get up on that stage. Because right now, TPM next year and WPPI next year are just looking for brilliant speakers who can stand up there and share their work and empower the audience. And I only ever wanted, Ash, real speakers up on that stage. I don't really care if you're big and fancy and flash, or if you have 100,000 followers or what. I care more that you have a profitable, sustainable business, and that you really love what you do, and that you can get up there and show people what you do in your full state of joy, and that they can learn from that. Because I would rather be mentored by real business owners and people who've really done the work than people who are just fancy and showing off and professional speakers, because I don't think we have that anymore. I think that really changed, and the rock stars became more about people that had actually done the work than big names, or, you know, and to me, that's more important because it's real. And you know, for a fact, when you watch people build their business, the ones who are really doing that work and the ones who really aren't. And so, yeah, bring yourself to this conference, and nobody's less or more than you at this conference. We're all just walking a similar path in a similar business, right? Growing and becoming more. So just get amongst it, and you'll find your people in there, because there are so many incredible people at this conference. It's really hard not to.
Yeah, that's a mic drop moment. I feel like that is really, for me, having been in this community as long as I have, the thing that sets it apart, the thing that has always made me feel really welcome and included, and the energy that you've coached us to really embody and also carry on for you is just really, everyone is equal and on the same journey and on the same path. And how can we help each other grow? And how can we make this life as rich as we can in abundance and memories and experiences for each other? And that's our business side. And from you, I've learned so much about just being a human being. So I do want to thank you, because again, the last 10 years of my life having a business, I feel like, yes, I've learned how to make money, and that is amazing, but I've also grown on a personal level so much just from everything that you
I just thought of the best piece of advice I could give. I hate fangirls. I hate fangirls and I hate fanboys, because when people come up to me and they're like, oh my God, so bright, I just feel awkward and I don't get anything from that. And the thing is you don't have to fangirl me at all. I want you to look at me instead and imagine that you're at a networking event and I'm hosting this big networking event, and you're getting to meet me for the first time, and you're going to introduce yourself to me, not as somebody that's putting their self below me or being subordinate in any way. You're going to walk up to me, put out your hand like a business owner and say, Sue Bryce, nice to meet you. My name is, I'm from, because the amount of people, Ash, that will walk up to me and go, oh, Sue Bryce, I've always wanted to meet you. You haven't told me your name. You haven't introduced yourself. I don't know who you are until you tell me who you are. So look at it like a networking event. Fill yourself with confidence. You are with your peers, and we're all your peers. It doesn't matter if we're mentors or if we are your mentors. That just means we're further along the path. So just come to it like a networking event. You know, you don't need to be less than anybody in that room, and you don't need to freak out when you meet me or the mentors or anybody else. You just need to tell us who you are so that we can connect with you as fast as possible. I get 1 minute with most people if I'm lucky. I don't want to spend that time watching you cry and not say anything. I get 1 minute to speak to you. Tell me something you want to tell me. Ask me something you really want to ask me, and just go for it, because I need to meet you, not, sort of be managed in the crowd. And I get so awkward in a room full of people. I just love meeting business owners. So if that doesn't change the way you approach me and mentors, I just want you to walk up to everybody with the same amount of confidence: vendors, supporters, volunteers, the crew, other speakers, mentors. I want you to go up to them and say, hello, Elena Blair. It's so incredible to meet you. My name is Sue Bryce, and I am from Scottsdale, Arizona, and I've been following you online. Like, it's that simple. Just come and introduce yourself and be confident in yourself and make as many connections as you can.
Yes, I love it. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining us live today. I know we have some giveaways, and of course, I want to remind people to get their ticket. Use that code Yacht Rock. You're going to get Sue's bundle, so you're going to get to go to her posing breakout class. You're going to get her posing series from the Portrait Masters store and her digital couples posing cards. So that's almost $1,000 value right there, plus $300 off your ticket. Don't miss out. This is going to be an incredible conference. Thank you, Sue, so much for your time today. It's been amazing to interview you. I can't wait to see you in Arizona. And let me just get to those giveaways, because I was so focused on, so I was not in the document. All right. Okay, so drum roll for our 5 gift card winners. You are all going to win $100 to the Portrait Masters store. We have Jasmine Sambach Photography, nice. Christy Williams, Amanda Lynn Cagle, that's with a C. It could be like Kaggle, so maybe I didn't pronounce that right. Amanda Lynn Kagel or Kagel, Lalon Photography, that's Nancy, I think. Oh my goodness. And Chantal Dion Photography. Congratulations. You each won $100 to the Portrait Masters $100 gift card to the Portrait Masters store, and you can redeem that by going to support at theportraitmasters.com. And this is our last live. We're ending it with a bang with Sue. I hope you will join us for the conference. If you haven't gotten that ticket, Yacht Rock is the code, and we will see you in Arizona in less than a month. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's like 4 weeks, just 3.5 weeks away.
Yeah.
And I look forward to seeing you all there too.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sue. This has been incredible.
Thanks, Ash.